Associated Ministries Lead the Way Home breakfast. We are so happy to be in person for the first time since 2019. I'm Diane Powers, the president-elect of the AM Board of Directors and retired director of the City of Tacoma's Office of Equity and Human Rights. I'm so honored to be your MC this morning, and I'm grateful that you've decided to spend this morning with us as we celebrate the power of partnership and how together we can make a significant difference in the lives of our houseless neighbors and vulnerable families throughout our community. But before we begin our program, I want to pause and pronounce a blessing over the gathering. And to do that, I'd like to invite one of our community's newest faith leaders to come and bless us. Rabbi Karen Gorbin recently came to lead the congregation at Temple Beth El, and in a few short months, she's already become a key leader in our community. Rabbi Gorbin, welcome to Pierce County, and welcome to the stage.
Good morning, Boker Tov. Okay, Boker Tov is the Hebrew for good morning. You're welcome to say that back to me. Thank you. It is a privilege to be here and to be finding my own way home in Tacoma and in Pierce County. And last week I learned a new song that, as I was thinking about what to offer this morning, just seemed so appropriate. One of the things that I learned from Torah is that, to start with, in order to love our neighbors, we need to love ourselves. So I'm going to invite you to just take a moment and think about what blessings you need this morning. And then I'm going to invite you to sing. I know it's going to be a new song, but you'll catch on pretty quickly. I learned it last week. I've been singing it every single day. May I find space, may I be free, may I have space, space to just be. Try that with me. May I be safe, may I be free, may I have space, space to just be. Here's some Hebrew. Ken yehi ratzon. May this be the will, and you can choose whoever's will you want it to be. Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon. May I find my way back home. Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon, may I find my way back home. Think of someone else who needs a blessing. Think of them and send them the blessings you want. We'll sing it again, this time with the word you. May you be safe. May you be free. May you find space. Space to just be. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. May you find your way back home. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. May you find your way back home. For all of us here and for all of Tacoma and Pierce County, we offer this blessing as well. May we be safe. May we be free. May we have space, space to just be. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. May we find our way back home. Ken yehi ratzon, ken yehi ratzon. May we find our way back home. may this be our will.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Gorman, for grounding us this morning. We have a great hour planned for you today, and I trust that you will renew your commitment to partner with us in addressing the challenges of homelessness. I believe you will leave here with a renewed passion about the part you can play as we work together towards lasting solutions in homelessness. But before we begin, I want to thank our generous sponsors who provided enough support to underwrite the full cost of the breakfast and this beautiful facility so that every single dollar you give this morning will go directly to the support of Associated Ministries. Our presenting sponsors are MultiCare, Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, and our community sponsors are Gray Lumber Company, Spinnaker Property Management, and our partnering sponsors are Auto Warehousing Company, Johnson, Stone, and Pagano, Corsmo Construction, Norse Properties, and Sound Credit Union. And may I ask you to just direct you to look at your programs. You'll see all of our generous sponsors listed. We are just so grateful to every single one of them, and I'd like for us all to just give them a round of applause right now. I'd also like to point out the beautiful centerpieces that you'll find at each of your tables this morning. These glass pumpkins were created by young people at the Hilltop Artists, and they're available for you to purchase and take home. If you buy one of these pumpkins, it will benefit AM as well as the Hilltop Artists. And so if you look underneath that centerpiece, there'll be directions about how you can purchase that. Now, it is my honor to recognize the public servants who have joined us this morning. You are dedicated individuals who effectively serve us every single day. So now I would like to ask elected officials, public servants, judges, and any first responders, will you please stand? Thank you so much for your service to our community. Now, you know, we all know it takes a village to do the never-ending and compassionate work of meeting our community's most vulnerable needs. And so we want to take a moment to recognize our agency partners. So those of you who serve as a staff member, a board member, or a volunteer at any nonprofit organization, will you please stand? Thank you so much for all of the work that you do. Finally, I want to recognize leaders within our faith communities. From our founding in 1969, they have been our key partners in serving the vulnerable in our community. So clergy, pastoral staff members, and faith leaders, will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for providing the moral foundation of love for neighbor upon which we stand. We're going to begin our presentations by hearing from the Executive Director of Associated Ministries, Michael Yoder. Mike joined AM back in 2015 and has been effectively serving the organization ever since, including through one of our most challenging seasons ever during the global pandemic. AM, though, has emerged on the other side of the pandemic bigger, more resilient, and more effective than it has ever been. But Mike will be quick to say, it isn't his efforts alone. Mike talks a lot about his staff. So it was really the dedicated frontline staff, AM's leadership, and the many diverse community partners, including government entities, foundations, businesses, faith communities, and thousands of individuals and donors and volunteers. And we're so grateful that some of you could spend this morning with us. I join Mike in thanking every one of you who played a role in serving our community, especially during the past few difficult years. And so I'd like to welcome Mike to share with us a few thoughts on the power of partnership.
Good morning. Good morning, friends. You know, I really do believe after my 7 years at Associate Ministries that I can authentically use that word with so many of you in this room. You're either good old friends or friends to be made. And I'm just so grateful that you are proving your friendship to Associated Ministries and to those that we serve by being here this morning. I'm just so grateful. You know, we've been looking forward to this day for 3 years. Can you believe some of you were in this room 3 years ago this week, which was the last time we were able to gather in person for this event. And none of us knew what we were about to face just a few months after we last gathered for our 50th anniversary gathering in November 2019. But as Diane alluded to, thanks to your unwavering support, we have come through this particularly dark season, and I'd say we're emerging into the light of a new day, and that's going to be the focus that we're going to have this morning. I hope you did notice, like we've already mentioned it several times today, that the power of partnerships is the theme for this 10th anniversary breakfast. And partnership is actually in the name of Associated Ministries. That's what the word associated means, implies connected or linked or allied. So that is a great word for us. And I think since we were founded 53 years ago, that has been the key hallmark of Associated Ministries, is partnering with anyone in this community that seeks to help build up this community to be more humane, compassionate, and just. And over the decades, thousands of people have joined us in this essential work. So I do want to say very clearly, as we talk about partnerships, you are a key part of this amazing network of partnerships. In the past year, because we all partnered together, we were able to impact 10,458 lives. That's how many people were touched by one or more of AM's programs. It's an incredible number, and the ripple effect, if you think about the ripple effect of that work, cannot be fully known. Well, this morning we're going to hear several inspiring examples about the power of partnerships, and I hope you're going to be able to see yourself in one or more of the testimonials that we're going to share. You'll see that the concept that runs through these testimonials, as it does through the majority of our current work, is our mission statement, working together towards lasting solutions to homelessness. You know, there isn't anyone in this room that isn't acutely aware of the crisis of homelessness that we face in our community, indeed in our nation. The challenge is, how do we effectively respond to it? Because if we're being honest, many days it probably doesn't feel like much progress is being made with this issue. But this morning I want to offer some hope, because behind the scenes, in the last few years, a lot of talented people have been working hard, and they've created a groundbreaking, comprehensive plan to end homelessness. And as we come together as a community to implement its strategies and recommendations, I truly believe that now, for the first time ever, we have an actionable roadmap that could actually reduce homelessness to functional zero in Pierce County within the next decade. But the bold ideas in the county's comprehensive plan, along with all the work we do every day at AM and our other partner agencies, it's not easy. Truth be told, it's going to be an extremely heavy lift to achieve the key aspects of the comprehensive plan. But we can't grow weary in doing good. Not now, when we have a roadmap to a better future, one in which homelessness is rare, brief, and a one-time experience for those caught up in its terrible consequences. But it will take a village to do this, and this morning we're going to share several inspiring examples of what true partnership looks like as we continue to move towards the goal of lasting solutions to homelessness. So first, I'd like to welcome to the stage Andrea Davis. Come on up, Andrea. She's Vice President of Community Giving, along with a lot of other duties at Coordinated Care. And Coordinated Care is a leading provider of healthcare coverage in our state, including Medicaid coverage, which positively impacts the lives of many of the clients that we serve at AM. So Coordinated Care's vision is to transform the health of the community one person at a time. They live that out. They have invested millions of dollars in the past few years in communities across Washington to support programs that promote health and realize their vision. Through their community giving fund, they have provided $20,000 for our Community Resource Connection Center last year and $25,000 for our home sharing programs this year. So we're very, very grateful. Both of those programs we're going to feature here this morning. But the team at Coordinated Care doesn't just write checks. They dive deeply in as true partners with organizations like AM. So it was a natural choice for us to invite Coordinated Care to come and share with us this morning on this theme of the power of partnerships. Thank you, Andrea.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here today. I'm delighted to represent Coordinated Care and speak to this year's theme, the power of partnership. As Mike said, we've always known the value of partnerships, but it's never been more apparent than during these last few years, that we are truly stronger and have a greater impact when we collaborate. But for our team, this goes back further than the pandemic. We started partnering with Associated Ministries back in 2016 with small groups of our staff volunteering for Paint Tacoma Beautiful. We were able to paint several homes over the years, impacting the lives of several low-income, elderly, and disabled homeowners in Tacoma. You see from some of the pictures. We understand the importance of having housing as a key social determinant of health. You cannot be healthy if you don't have a safe and stable place to live. So not only does it make sense for us to partner because we are also headquartered in Tacoma, but also because Associated Ministries is helping us deliver on our mission to improve the health of the community one person at a time. But we were just getting started. In 2018, we joined Associated Ministries Project Homeless Connect, and it was a no-brainer. It was, as you know, a project to connect the most vulnerable in our community with needed services to provide stability. As Mike mentioned, we are a Medicaid health plan, and we really strive in serving this population, and we really design benefits and programs to meet the specific needs. And I couldn't ask for a better partner than Associated Ministries, and at one Homeless Connect event, our staff was able to meet one of our members who was couch surfing at the time and applying for jobs. Not only did he need housing resources, but he needed an updated ID, something to wear to a job interview, and a safe place to receive his mail. We instantly connected him to one of Associated Ministries' coordinated entry specialists who was able to help him with housing, and we were able to get him other resources. And we spoke with him about his healthcare coverage and getting access to a primary care provider and dental services. The power of partnership means we don't have to start from scratch, because there are tremendous community partners that offer programs to meet the needs of the community. We rely on the amazing work of Associated Ministries and what they offer by elevating and leveraging their work and finding ways to expand their scope and reach. What they provide is truly impressive. Housing assistance, food, driver's license renewals, and replacements of birth certificates, work clothes, the list goes on and on. Over the last several years, as Mike mentioned, we really looked at our community giving program and wanted to better align it with our mission. We knew we needed to keep equity, capacity building, and social determinants of health at the forefront. And maybe even more importantly, we knew we needed to find expert partners meeting the needs of the community, but also finding innovative ways to meet these challenges. And so Associated Ministries has risen to the challenge, and they are truly a great partner. They have amazing results, which you'll hear about, and I'm just so pleased that the two programs that we have supported financially the last 2 years are the ones you'll hear about today. So I just can't say enough about Associated Ministries. They lead with compassion, kindness, and truly a great partner in all sense of the word. So with that, I will just say congratulations, and really proud to partner with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much. So you've heard us talking about Coordinated Care support for our Community Resource Connection Center, and next we're going to profile this very unique program and meet one of our AM staff members who's become the heart and soul of our work there. The Community Resource Connection Center, really quickly, it's a hub of services and resources that are not found in other community programs. It's a lot of interventions that address unique barriers to stability and help individuals and families maintain their housing and avoid future homelessness. The Resource Center services include, Andrea mentioned some of them, obtaining vital documents, transportation assistance, furnishing the new homes of those exiting homelessness, assistance with employment licensing fees, certifications, equipment to help individuals gain employment, as well as assistance with medical fees and co-pays, prescriptions, and more. It's a vitally needed program that impacts hundreds of lives every year. So Ronnie Pace is working with us at Associated Ministries. I want you to come welcome her as she comes up to the stage now. We're going to talk a little bit more about this program. So I didn't know we had a princess working at Associated Ministries when she walked in this morning. So grateful for you to be here. You know, the reason Ronnie is so good at what she does at AM is because she has lived experience. She left San Diego a few years ago with her 2 young children to flee from domestic violence, and after making her way to the Northwest, she was referred to AM to locate housing, and then eventually she became an intern with us at Associated Ministries in our Resource Center through the WorkSource program. And we realized we just couldn't let go of her. So we hired her to stay on to assist with that program. And through it all, she's been inspired to get a degree in social work. She's just such an incredible example of a life that has come full circle as she now gets to help the community that helped her. So Ronnie, tell us just a little bit about your journey. How did you make this transition from intern to employee, and tell us what you want us to know about your work every day.
Good morning, everyone. As Mike already said, yes, I started through the WorkSource program as an intern with Associated Ministries. And when I first started, I was a little bit intimidated because it was a new environment. I was in a new state, and I didn't know anything about the area that I was in. But the community, the family atmosphere that Associated Ministries has, everybody really took me in. They taught me what I needed to know to do my job, to help serve the community, and to further my education so that I was able to do my job and serve the community. What I love about Associated Ministries is that they invest in the community that they're providing help for. And what I mean by that is employing interns, it gives the example that you are believed in no matter where you come from. Whatever your background is, you have the opportunity to change that. And as an intern that turned to employee at Associated Ministries, I really feel like I was supported to make that change. And now having my own intern through the WorkSource program and running the CRCC program, I just feel like I'm able to provide that confidence in the next person so that they could be, leading a program. The Community Resource Connection Center, we're supposed to have a slide, but the Community Resource Connection Center, we help other agencies because we do provide services that are not common. We don't, due to private funding, we're able to help people who are employed, who are housed, but are on that hard time to where they could lose that stability. And we're able to bridge the gap and keep them stable, keep them housed, keep their transportation running, so that they can make it to their employment and continue supporting their family and end the cycle of homelessness.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Appreciate you. Her transparency, her willingness to share, I mean, she's just a beautiful, beautiful ambassador, and I'm just so inspired by her positive spirit and her obvious love for her work and her clients. She's the kind of person I am truly honored to work with every day at AM, and I hope that you will see her as your partner in this work too. Because as you invest in Ronnie and her colleagues at AM through your gifts and providing the funding for us to do the micro grants through the Resource Center, that changes lives every day. So she is your partner as well too. Thank you so much for your support of that program. And now I want to wrap up this spotlight section by shining the light on our newest programs. which we introduced to all of you 1 year ago today at the virtual gathering we held in place of this breakfast. Shared Housing Services was a local nonprofit that specialized in home sharing for many years, and as of January 1 of this year, their programs merged with us at Associated Ministries, and we could not be more excited about the opportunity to take on this new work. So briefly, since it's new to those of you in the AM circles, home sharing is a living arrangement where home providers offer accommodations to home seekers in exchange for an agreed upon level of support. Could be in the form of a financial contribution, assistance with household tasks, transportation, or companionship. It's really a simple idea that has been around for some time, but now it's re-emerging as a key strategy to address the lack of affordable housing in our community and our aging population and just the increasing homelessness we have in our community. Home sharing really is seen as a best practice model, which facilitates living arrangements between two or more unrelated people who agree to share a home or apartment for their mutual benefit. So there's actually two programs. In our adult home sharing program, our team does the hard part. They make the best matches possible between provider and seeker by by doing interviews. They do background checks, and they just have a knack for recognizing lifestyle compatibility and walking with both parties. The other new program in our home sharing universe is our youth host home program. Through that one, we pair a young person experiencing homelessness with a caring household that wants to make a difference. The youth host home provider offers living space, maybe some light mentorship, while our case manager assists the participants to overcome barriers that prevent them from achieving their educational, employment, or personal goals, all towards the goal of developing their skill sets for attaining self-sufficiency and the ability to live independently. So this morning, we wanted you to get a better understanding of what really happens in our youth host home program by hearing from one of our home providers. So Alyssa Torres, would you come up to the stage? We're going to have you meet her, and she has had some young people that she has hosted in her home these past couple of years. And tell us, how did you get involved in this program, and what has it meant to you? Thank you, Alyssa.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I came to shared housing a few years ago before the transition under Associated Ministries. I was blessed to be able to purchase a house in 2017, a few months before my 29th birthday, and my younger brother, was actually staying with me. So I bought the house with the intent of filling it with family and people and having it be a place that whoever needed a place to stay could be there. So when my brother said that he was moving out in early 2020, I was like, well, now what am I going to do? Right? So, people had recommended, you can rent out stuff on Airbnb, or you can look on Craigslist. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Being a single female homeowner and, having stories and things that can happen, we wanted to make sure that I was, being safe and who I was inviting to my home, but also making sure that I was giving back to the community, knowing about the, what you mentioned earlier, the houseless crisis that we're experiencing right now in our region, finding ways to be able to utilize the space that I've been blessed with to address some of those issues. So I've been working with a small nonprofit in the Hilltop of Tacoma, the Hilltop Action Coalition, and they share resources for the community to be able to utilize to address these community issues. And one of those resources was shared housing services. And so being in the situation I was in and having access to these resources, I filled out an online comment card, and now I'm here. 3 years later.
Yes. Can you just give the folks here this morning just a brief idea of what it has meant for you to share your life with the young people that you've welcomed into your home?
Yeah, and I'm going to try not to cry because it's really impactful for me personally. So I've hosted 3 youth through the youth host home program over the last 3 years, and working in the community and working in housing and community development, you hear about stories, you hear about things that are happening, about challenges that people are facing. But once my first tenant moved in, and I had got to know him a little bit more and heard about his story, it really makes the experiences a lot more real. And it makes it more urgent, and it makes even the little things that you can do as far as just opening a room in my home really impactful. And so learning about stories and things that people experience and being able to give back in just a tiny little way of opening a room in my upstairs has really deepened my kind of knowledge and understanding of the issues, and finding ways that we can support folks who are experiencing these problems a little bit better. So we've had great experiences with my youth. Still friends with a lot of them. Halloween just passed, and we had a little pumpkin carving night with a couple of my old youth home tenants and my new home tenants. And so even with them, meeting each other and creating a community, even within the home, has been an experience that I didn't even realize that was going to happen coming into this.
It's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Alyssa. We are so excited about the potential of these programs to provide housing right now for dozens, if not hundreds, of our neighbors facing housing instability. I want to invite my AM colleagues Marie Fallon and Sarah McGinnis. Here they are. You're just going to walk up here and show their faces really quickly. Come on up here. I want you to see who they are, because after the program today, they're going to be at a table just outside here next to the buffet. And I really want to encourage you to just stop by and talk to them about the home sharing programs, the adult program or the youth program, if you have any questions about what that would look like. But even more importantly, they'd love to talk with you about any groups that you could help get them invited to, where they could share more about these new programs that we're offering. I'm thinking faith communities, service clubs, your neighborhood association, any place you can think of where there might be folks interested in learning more about this amazing solution to homelessness that we call home sharing. Thank you so much for your efforts in making that program great. Well, even if you personally aren't able to open an extra room in your home to someone in need of housing, your financial support this morning is vitally important to enable AM to continue growing this program. But even if every household here opened up a room, the obvious truth is that those of us in this room are not going to solve the crisis of homelessness on our own. But I know for certain that every one of us can do our part to help someone. You can make all the difference in the world to one of our neighbors who finds themselves in crisis right now. Mother Teresa said, "I can do things you cannot. You can do things I cannot. Together, we can do great things." So this morning, we're going to do some great things together. Author and business guru Seth Godin wrote in his popular blog a while back, "If you have a safe place to sleep, reasonable health, and food in the fridge, you're probably living with a surplus. You have enough breathing room to devote an hour to watching TV, or even having an argument you don't need to have, or simply messing around online. You have time and leverage and technology and trust. For many people, this surplus is bigger than any human on earth could have imagined just 100 years ago. What will you spend your surplus on? Because the reality is, if you're not drowning, you're a lifeguard." So, okay, lifeguards, you know there are many people in our community that are crying out this morning for help. And to reference the familiar starfish on the seashore metaphor, no, you can't save everyone. But this morning, we're going to ask you to do your part to help someone. As we move into a time of commitment, I want to make a promise to you that your gift of any amount will be put to great use. And this morning, I'd like to issue a special plea to consider standing with AM all year round by committing to a monthly pledge. So right now, I'm going to have Diane come back up and lead us kind of into our time of commitment. Thanks for coming back, Diane.
There has been so much inspiration shared this morning, and I believe we've also received a kind of sobering realization about how much more work we need to do to help our houseless neighbors. So we've gotten to that part of the program where we challenge you to make an investment in AM's ability to continue this essential work and meeting these vital needs, along with our efforts to convene and deploy community partners into compassionate service. Now, as I stand here this morning, I want you to know I wouldn't ask you to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. I've seen the work of AM for many years from several vantage points. As a funder, I was previously the deputy director, and now I'm honored to serve on the board and help in a more meaningful way. I'm completely committed to the mission and the vision of Associated Ministries, and if you'll step out and join us too, I'm confident that there's no limit to the lives that we can change together. Our new home sharing programs, our Community Resource Connection Center, and the other initiatives we've heard about today are just a few tangible examples of how AM continues to be there for people in need, working consistently and effectively with any willing partner who steps forward. This morning, we've tried to make an inspiring case that now is the time that every one of us needs to take action. The consequences of inaction are too great. The future of those without shelter is too fragile, and the work of AM is too essential for any one of us to sit on the sidelines this morning.
Thank you, Diane. So now is the opportunity for you to join us to lead the way home. And I'm going to ask my AM colleagues in the blue t-shirts to distribute commitment cards now to each table. So they'll be coming around, and as they come up to your table, take those cards and pass them around your table. I'm going to ask every one of you to consider giving a financial gift today via check or credit card. You can indicate that on the card. Or even better, as I mentioned before Diane came up, would you commit to give each month for the next year to provide a sustaining source of revenue that we can count on all year long? You know, the truth is that the phones at AM ring all year round. People in need never stop coming through our door. And congregations and community partners continually look to us to spearhead collaboration. So that's why your willingness to help sustain our work on a monthly basis is so important. But as you consider your gift, whether monthly or one time, I want to remind you again of the essential role AM has played in Pierce County for 53 years and the vital work that we want to continue to undertake to bring our vision to fruition. Day in and day out, there are more than a dozen programs that we lead that effectively meet needs for some of our most vulnerable neighbors. I hope that you were able to glance through the brochure that we placed at your table next to the program. It outlines all the programs and services of AM, much more than we could talk about this morning. And you'll see there is a lot going on, but everything we do works together to create a unique and effective ecosystem of support to build lasting solutions for those in need. So briefly, specifically, how would your gift today help? Well, here's some examples. A donation of just $74 will fund 2 weeks of a caseworker's compassionate care, walking alongside a family in need. A gift of $192 will underwrite an AM staff member's work to find permanent housing for a family. Or a gift of $448 will provide the average monthly rental assistance that a family needs to stay in permanent housing. Some here this morning could even provide an incredible gift of $2,398. That's the average amount required to fully stabilize a family and enable them to move their lives forward into permanent housing. So right now, we're poised to enter this exciting new season as we come out of the pandemic, apply the lessons learned, and undertake the new initiatives we've shared briefly with you about this morning and keep our legacy work going. And we are just so grateful for all of the efforts of our partners, individuals, nonprofits, faith communities, public entities coming together to tackle this biggest challenge our community has faced in a generation. So I thank you for joining us this morning in our mission of working together toward lasting solutions to homelessness by investing in the essential work of Associated Ministries. I assure you, your support has never been more vital. So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes to complete your commitment cards that have been passed out. Don't forget to look on the back side of the card as well and indicate your interest in any of the volunteer serving opportunities that we offer, because that's another way to give. AM workers in the blue t-shirts are going to be circulating again at the end of the program today to collect your completed cards, and Diane's going to be back up in just a couple of minutes to close out our time together. So take a look at those cards and consider your gift, and thank you again. We'll dismiss after Diane returns in just a moment.
Well, it certainly is a fact that every single human being deserves housing. I want to thank you all for coming out this morning. As you complete those commitment cards, please just seal them in the individual envelopes, and someone from AM will come around and collect them. You know, often when you come to events like this, you're sent home with a chocolate bar or a tchotchke. But we decided we wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'm sure you noticed these really large plastic bags at your table this morning. What we'd like you to do is take that bag, follow the instructions inside, and fill it with just a simple few items that will be a tremendous blessing to someone in need. And be sure to add just a personal note of encouragement. After you fill that bag, just look for someone and give it to them, and just as a random act of kindness. Or if you don't want to do that, if you fill it up, you can bring it to Associated Ministries offices, and we'll make sure it gets to someone and really provides a blessing for them. Before I dismiss, I want to recognize the fellow members of the AM Board of Directors. Will you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for your service to Associated Ministries and to our community. Finally, we want just once again thank the sponsors of today's breakfast, as well as the AM staff members who served on the breakfast planning committee, including Michelle, Mark, Rebecca, and others. Also, the teams at Giorgio's Catering, the staff here at the McGavick Center, and all of the wonderful volunteers who contributed their time to make possible this wonderful gathering today. Thank you again. Muchas gracias. Merci beaucoup. Have a wonderful day today. Thank you.